Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're finally tackling a question that has probably frustrated you, your parents, or maybe your teenagers for decades. Does your diet, specifically things like chocolate, sugar, and dairy, actually cause breakouts? We are officially putting food on trial today to give you a fair, evidence-based verdict on the complex relationship between what you eat and your skin.
I'll be your guide through this presentation, which was meticulously put together by Dr. Thomas Hocker. He's a Harvard and Mayo Clinic-trained, triple board-certified dermatologist, Mohs surgeon, and dermatopathologist.
Just a quick heads up before we dive in. This explainer is for general, educational, and entertainment purposes. It is not personal medical advice, diagnosis, or treatment. Also, the information we're covering today was medically reviewed on July 3, 2026. Here's our roadmap for today. First, the blame game. Then we'll bust 5 common diet myths, look at the real dietary suspects, map out your 8 to 12-week plan, and finally cover exactly when to see a dermatologist.
Section 1. The blame game. Putting food on trial for acne.
Look, we get it. People are absolutely exhausted from getting conflicting advice. On one hand, you hear diet has nothing to do with acne. On the other, the internet is screaming at you to stop eating chocolate, dairy, sugar, and basically everything fun. It leaves patients feeling like they're being punished by their own grocery lists for eating one wrong snack. But digging into Dr. Hocker's notes, there's a really comforting fact we need to establish right away. Acne is not a moral failing. It's a medical condition driven by biology, hormones, genetics, oil glands, clogged pores, and bacteria. Food doesn't usually start acne all on its own, but in acne-prone skin, certain foods can definitely turn up the volume.
Section 2. Busting 5 common diet myths and separating fact from fiction.
Our very first myth is the idea that chocolate is the ultimate villain. Well, here's the thing. Most chocolate isn't just cocoa. It's a package deal of cocoa, sugar, and dairy. And the medical evidence actually points to the sugar and dairy parts as the real suspects here. The case against pure cocoa itself, it's incredibly weak. So hey, if you love chocolate, going for a dark chocolate with a high cocoa content and low sugar is actually a pretty reasonable choice.
Moving to myth number 2, the claim that diet has absolutely nothing to do with breakouts. This is the total opposite extreme. While food isn't the root cause, the research clearly shows that your eating patterns absolutely matter. High glycemic foods that spike your blood sugar along with liquid cow's milk have really consistent evidence showing they can make breakouts worse for some people.
Myth 3 is a big one. The idea that greasy food clogs your pores from the inside out. I mean, it sounds logical, right? Eat grease, get greasy skin. But our bodies just don't work that way. The oil on your skin, called sebum, is driven by your hormones and your genetics, not the fries you had for lunch. Now, to be fair, diets heavy in fried foods are often high in refined carbs and sugar, which do have a link to acne. But the grease itself, it's not literally pushing through your pores.
Myth 4 is responsible for so much unnecessary misery, the idea that you have to completely eliminate all dairy. The strongest scientific evidence only points to liquid cow's milk, especially skim milk, believe it or not. Surprisingly, large studies show that fermented dairy products like yogurt and cheese just do not carry that same consistent link to acne. Cutting out all dairy unnecessarily restricts your calcium and protein, which is super important, especially for growing teens.
And our final myth is actually pretty dangerous. The belief that detox diets or juice cleanses will clear up your acne. The presentation is crystal clear on this. There is zero rigorous evidence supporting detox diets for acne. In fact, these extreme elimination diets can cause nutritional deficiencies and carry a very real risk of triggering disordered eating and an unhealthy obsession with clean eating, especially in adolescents and young adults.
Section 3. The real dietary suspects, or what actually turns up the volume on breakouts.
So how does this actually work under the hood? Well, this biological pathway has the strongest evidence behind it. When you eat high glycemic foods, think white bread, white rice, candy, soda, your blood sugar shoots up really fast. Your body responds with a surge of insulin, which triggers a growth signal called IGF-1. And here's the kicker. IGF-1 basically tells your oil glands to go into overdrive and pump out more oil, and it tells your skin cells to grow faster. More oil plus clogged pores equals more inflammation and, you guessed it, more acne.
So, who are the real suspects here? First up are those high glycemic foods we just mentioned that trigger that blood sugar cascade. Sugary drinks, candy, pastries, white bread, and sugary cereals. Next is liquid cow's milk, with skim milk often being the biggest offender in large observational studies. And finally, an interesting one for you athletes out there, whey protein supplements. While clinical trials are a bit mixed, there are numerous case reports linking whey protein shakes to new acne flares, particularly on the chest and back in young athletes.
Section 4. Your 8 to 12-week plan. A practical test, not a punishment. Here is a practical, everyday plan you can actually stick to without making food feel like the enemy. First rule, add before you subtract. Incorporate more vegetables, fruits, whole grains, and fish before you start cutting things out. Second, try to calmly reduce those blood sugar spikes by swapping out sugary drinks and refined carbs. Third, if you drink a ton of liquid cow's milk, try scaling it back, but keep enjoying your cheese and yogurt. Keep chocolate in perspective, maybe switch to dark chocolate if milk chocolate is a trigger for you. And please, don't stress over having a slice of Friday night pizza. Snap simple photos every few weeks to track your progress, but don't obsess over every calorie. Remember, skin cells turn over slowly, so give it a solid 8 to 12 weeks to see real results.
Now here's a crucial point. Diet changes alone rarely clear acne completely. Diet is just a supportive tool. You absolutely must combine it with proven over-the-counter medical care. We're talking a gentle, non-comedogenic cleanser twice a day, and please, no harsh scrubbing. You can also incorporate benzoyl peroxide to target acne bacteria and adipalene gel at night to unclog pores and calm inflammation. And this is vital. Use a broad-spectrum SPF 30 or higher every single day to protect your skin and prevent those acne marks from getting darker.
Section 5. When to see a dermatologist, because at the end of the day, acne is a medical condition. You need to stop experimenting with your diet and see a dermatologist if you hit any of these medical red flags. If your acne is forming deep, painful cysts or nodules, see a doctor. Developing scars or dark marks, see a doctor. If you've tried the 8 to 12-week plan with over-the-counter care and seen absolutely no improvement, it's time. Also, if acne is showing up unusually early, like under age 8, or completely out of nowhere as an adult. And most importantly, if your acne is causing you significant emotional distress, anxiety, or making you want to withdraw socially, your mental health matters just as much as your physical health.
There's a really vital warning in Dr. Hocker's notes. Acne that scars cannot be unscarred. Delaying proven medical treatments while you spend months playing around with extreme diets just increases your risk of permanent scarring and post-inflammatory hyperpigmentation. These dark marks can last for months or even years, and for patients with darker skin tones, these marks can often be way more distressing than the acne itself. Getting effective medical treatment early is absolutely critical. Ultimately, the goal here isn't to force yourself into a perfect, restrictive diet. It's about clear skin, a healthy mind, and a plan that doesn't make you view food as the enemy. Sure, chocolate causes acne makes for a great clickbait headline, but your overall eating patterns and proven medical treatments are the real story here. So armed with this evidence, how will you drop the food guilt and support your skin health today using balanced medical science? Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer, and here's to a much healthier, happier approach to your skin.